Anybody out there? Are you guys out there? Give me a shout if you are. You haven't got a link to the chat, have you, Alan? Everybody give Alan a big round of applause behind the in the comments as well for being so, I don't know what manly. I don't know if that's one of your sort of like greatest attributes, Alan. I wouldn't say he's very manly. He's definitely not. You're not feminine, but he's certainly not pumped. Well, I don't know. I mean, he has been going to the gym. Just, I know. Yeah, that's true actually. Let me just check the cut. Alan's going to shoot me the chat so I can see you guys. And while Alan's doing that, let me give you the pitch on what we're going to do today. I'm going to spend half an hour with you. Yes, 30 minutes. So shame on you if you cannot spend 30 minutes with me today and would rather go and watch cat videos over there in that right-hand column. But I'm going to spend 30 minutes and I'm going to try and tell you as much information as possible in 30 minutes, in the next 30 minutes, to get this thing down, the fretboard. Because it can be an elusive pain in the backside. And I've spent the last 2.5 decades kind of trying to figure out systems to help not only myself, but also people like you really get to grips with the fretboard. Because we shouldn't just be, down here in the money end, whatever it's called, playing down here in the this area of the fingerboard. We've got an entire instrument to play, and just like when you heard me play there at the top. Cheers, mate. We've got all of these amazing notes and space on the fingerboard that we should be able to use. There's kind of no excuses other than that the fingerboard's a complete pain in the butt. So today I'm going to be sharing a bunch of different ways that I like to think about the fretboard, and without this, how many elements have I got? I've got some notes down here, sort of like 3 or 4 different elements or different approaches to learning the fretboard. Without those, I certainly would have been stuck in this area. You don't wake up one day and suddenly you can play all around the fingerboard. It takes, it takes time, but it takes different approaches that might work or not work for you to help your brain understand what's going on here. I think a couple of things just to jump into straight away. In the comments, let me know, do you think notes or do you think patterns? In the comments, let me know, notes or patterns. And while you're doing that, let me tell you that for the most part, I think patterns. That's how I play. And a bass player a long time ago actually really pushed me on this when I was just learning. He said, you don't want to be using patterns, you want to be using notes. And you might have heard that advice as well. And some people do play, thinking notes all the time. But the reality is that different approaches work for different bass players. And for you, thinking about notes all the time might not be the right approach. You might be a more visual player. Now, if you're a more visual player like me, I've got a lot of great tips that I'm going to share with you today to help you learn the fretboard a lot faster. And the second thing, so first of all, let me know, are you a note player or a visual player? Do you use patterns? And also, if you are interested and you enjoy today, let me just get this right before I tell vicious lies on the internet. If you like what we get into today, I've got a brand new course open for enrollment. It's called the Fretboard Accelerator. I open it once a year. Right now, it's open. And we've also created some amazing bonuses as well. Over $300 worth of bonuses that we're giving away for free for anybody that signs up to the Fretboard Accelerator today. So if you do want to check it out, if you do want to get all of those free bonuses, like 7 hours worth of bonus content, if you want to get them, make sure that you go to, let me get the URL right, scottsfretboardcourse.com. If you go to Scott's Fretboard Course, I'll tell you about it at the end anyway. You don't need to go anywhere now. But if you're like, I want to sign up, go to scottsfretboardcourse.com and you will find it there. And again, we only open it once per year. It's a long ass course. It's like, I think 6 months long, the amount of material that you're going to get access to. You get lifetime access to it, but to work through it, one lesson per week, it's going to take you around 6 months. And the idea about the program is how to master this thing, the fretboard. And a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about today are from that course right there. Okay. So again, scottsfretboardcourse.com. Sign up today and you also get over $300 worth of bonuses thrown in for free. Free.com. Okay. First of all, let's jump into this. So when it comes to learning the fretboard, the thing that makes it hard for bass or guitar as well is that we've got all of these repeated notes everywhere. In fact, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of the same C there, okay? All of these are the same C. So imagine a piano where you haven't got one middle C, you've got 4 middle Cs, but they're all at different points on the keyboard. It's really confusing, okay? So what I like to do to really start, I guess, simplifying it, and I am, trust me, Mr. Simplifier, I really like to make things as simple as possible. The simpler the approach, the better for me, the better for you as well, better for my students, right? So to begin with, I like breaking the fingerboard up into different areas. Instead of thinking about it as this sort of like, one huge lot of notes, one big nightmare, what we want to do is break it into smaller sections. Now, if you don't know, most of you will know, but if you don't know, everything here, all of this here is, it's a mirror image of down here, right? We've got an F here, we've got an F here. F sharp, G, G, okay? So the 12th fret, the double dots here, are essentially the open strings. And then it's all repeated, okay? It's repeated from down here. So when we're learning the fretboard, what we really want to focus it on is the 12th fret down. That's what we really want to focus on, okay? 12th fret down. You can pretty much ignore this stuff for now, and then at a later date when you feel comfortable and you want to run the exercises, I'm going to get into today, when you feel comfortable, then you can do it up here. Oh, that's that buzzing again. We've got this weird... There we go, and it's gone again. Weird earth hum coming from somewhere. So for now, just ignore this. Also, for now, I don't want you to use any open strings. I'm not against open strings or anything like that. They've done nothing to me, okay? I love using open strings. I love using them in runs like that where I'm using a bunch of open strings. But when it comes to learning the fretboard, let's get rid of open strings for a minute, okay? And focus on frets 1 through 12. Now that gives us 12 frets to focus on. By the way, Alan, how long are we in? The challenge was to impart as much fretboard knowledge in 30 minutes. How long are we going? Just over 5 minutes. Okay, 25 minutes to go. Stick with me. Okay, so we've got 12 frets, okay? But that's still a lot of material. So what I like to do is break this up into 3 areas. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you various exercises today. And those exercises, we're going to use them in 3 different areas. The first area is probably the one that you're most familiar with, and it's frets 1 to 5. Okay, that area of the fretboard. And when I like to, for these different areas of the fingerboard or the fretboard, I like to 5 fret blocks that slightly overlap, because you don't want them not to overlap, because trust me, it's a lot easier if they overlap. Okay, so the first area of the fingerboard is frets 1 to 5. The next, you can write this down as well if you want. If you want to grab a pen, do so. It might be really helpful. The next area of the fingerboard looks way less intimidating when I do this, doesn't it? Just imagine if we only had this many frets. Good times. Okay, well, that's how we're going to approach it. So the first area of the fingerboard, frets 1 to 5. The second area of the fingerboard is 5 to 9. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And again, you can see it's a 5 fret block. And then the next area of the fingerboard is frets 8 to 12. There's a fret overlap there, isn't there? So 1 to 5, 5 to 9, and then 8 to 12. Again, it's a 5 fret block. So write those down, stick them on your wall, you know, keep in your drawers, whatever. But you've got to remember that. So when you see me, for instance, playing like something like I did at the top of the stream there. Oh, there we go. I'm using those different areas that I can feel myself navigating through them, because what I've done is I've practiced the exercises I'm going to show you today. I've practiced them in those specific areas. So visually, I can see all of the available notes that I'm trying to hit, you know, as I'm moving through the fingerboard. So first of all is understanding that we've got 3 areas. Are you ready for me to move on? Give me a yes in the comments if you've got that down. Give me a yes. Just popping out this chat so I can see you guys. Pop out chat. Give me a yes. Are you ready? Putting exercises into those areas. Now, a really cool kind of like first step thing to do with this is just to start playing major triads. Do you guys know what a major triad is? Again, let me know in the comments if you know what a major triad is. It's super simple. It's just a major chord, right? So a guitar player might play C major. Piano player might play C major. Well, on a bass, we don't do this, but we might play. Okay, that's a C major triad. Okay, C major triad. So all a triad is a chord. Now, quick sort of like side note, but also very relevant, is that bass players are chordal players. Okay, so we've got guitar players, and for the most part, when they're not, you know, going, you know, when they're not doing crazy awesome solos, they're playing chords, right? They're comping. Same thing with piano players, right? For the most part, they're playing chords. Well, bass players, we play chords as well, but we generally don't play them like this. You know, we generally don't play them like that. We can do, and it's great to be able to do that for sure, but generally we play them. Okay, again, one more time. The guitar player would play. Keys player would do the same. Bass player. Okay, Okay, so what I'm doing there is I'm outlining the chord tones. I'm playing the chord tones, the tones from the chords. The other instruments, they play them all at the same time. Bass players, we play them in a linear fashion, okay? We can play roots and thirds, we can play roots and fifths. But what we're doing is our bass lines are made up of the chord. It's the same thing, okay? We're playing the chord. So triads are the most basic version of a chord. We're just a root, a third, and a 5, okay? Root, third, and 5. And the C major sounds like this. Root, 3, 5. Now, you might have to rewind this back. I'm going to zip through. We've got half an hour. How long we got left, Alan? 20 minutes. Got 20 minutes. I need to get all of this stuff out there for you, right? So we're going to play. What we're going to do is we're going to take a major triad, root, 3, 5, okay? And we're going to play around the circle of fifths. Now, the circle of fifths, if you do not know this, somebody please write it in the comments. It is. I'll say it. Somebody write it down. Put it in the comments so everybody can write it down, okay? C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, E, A, D, G. That is the circle of fifths. It's actually a circle of fourths, but we won't go down that one, okay? I'm going to say it one more time. C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, E, A, D, G, okay? 12 notes, okay? So once you've got that written down, somebody's going to put it in the comments for us as well. You can copy and paste it out of there. What we're going to do is we're going to play a major triad around the circle of fifths. So we're going to play C major triad. We're going to play F major triad. We're going to play B flat major triad. E flat major triad. A flat major triad. D flat major triad. G flat major triad. B, E, A, D, G, C. Put it another way, okay, just so I can really hammer home how important these are. All I'm doing is I'm playing each chord. So there's 12 chords, you know, there's 12 notes on the bass, obviously. There's only 12 notes, okay? I'm playing each of the 12 chords, major chords, each of the 12 major triads, and I'm doing it in the first 5 frets of the bass. That's all I'm doing, okay? So a major triad on each of those. Okay, C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G, G flat, B, E, A, D, G. Okay, so here we go. It's going to sound like this. Now, when you're doing these exercises, you might have to rewind this. And when you do these exercises, you need to make sure that you're only doing it in the first 5 frets. You are not allowed to go outside the first 5 frets, okay? Here we go. C, F. Next one, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, E, A, D, G, C. Now, you might be thinking, if you're trying this, you might be thinking, how am I supposed to do this? Because say yes in the comments. If you're like, oh, I just play that C major triad and I can just move that around, right? You're thinking to yourself, oh, I can just do this. It's the same pattern for all of them. Whoa. Oh, look, it's the same pattern. Oh, well, it's not the same pattern though, is it? Because we're only doing it in the first 5 frets. So that means you have to have, check this out, 3 patterns for the major triad. There's 3 patterns for the major triad. I'm going to show you them all in the key of C, okay? Here's the first one. It's finger 2, finger 1, and finger 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I haven't got 5 fingers. I've only got 4. Okay, it's finger 2, finger 1, and finger 4. Boo-da-dee, boo-da-dee. Okay, that's the first fingering, okay? Second fingering is finger 1. Then on the same string, you've got the third there, third of the chord, then you've got a 5. Boo-dee-da, boo-dee-da. So we've got boo-da-dee, boo-dee-da. You've also got the next fingering is from the little finger, and it goes little finger, third finger, index finger, boo-doo-da. So we've got 3 ways. 3 ways that we can play a C. So that gives us, once you've learnt the 3 fingerings, that means we can do it in the 5 frets, okay? Let's call it first finger position, second finger position, fourth finger position. Now, if I go to these first 5 frets, let's run through the circle of fifths, C, F, B flat, etc. And I will call out what position I'm using, okay? Second finger position, second finger position, first finger position, first finger position, fourth finger position, fourth finger position, second finger position, second finger position, second finger position, fourth finger position, fourth finger position, second finger position, back to second finger position on the C, okay? It is learning these patterns, 3 patterns. So you're going to see, I'm going to get into this even further on scales as well. If you're not using this on scales, you're at a massive disadvantage, okay? So first of all, with your triads, you have to learn them from the 3 fingerings. The first finger position, second finger position, and fourth finger position. Then you can truly understand this first 5 frets that you thought you knew. You thought you knew the first 5 frets, okay? Right. Okay, so that was the 12 chords around the 12 major chords or 12 major triads around the circle of fifths, okay, using the 3 patterns. Now, again, I go into this in massive amounts of detail in the Fretboard Accelerator. Again, if you want to check it out, just go to, I'll just pull up the URL, scottsfretboardcourse.com. scottsfretboardcourse.com. It's open for enrollment right now. We only open it once a year, and we're also throwing in $300, an extra 7 hours of content. Extra 7 hours of content, $300 worth of extra content for free if you sign up today. So go check it out at scottsfretboardcourse.com. Now, how long we got, Alan? What? 10 minutes? Might have to stretch this 15 minutes. Okay, next up, let me whiz through this. Again, if anybody's joining, I said that I was going to try and give you as much fretboard knowledge as I possibly could in 30 minutes, okay? So we've done that exercise. We've learnt the 3 patterns, first finger position, second finger position, third finger position for the major triad. We've done it in the first 5 frets, because now we understand that we have to break up the fretboard into 3 areas. It's not one area of doom. It's 3 areas of glorious notes, okay? Now, the next area was 5 to 9. Now we take the same exercise around the circle of fifths, C, F, B flat, E flat. You should have written this down already, okay, or copy and pasted it from the comments. We take the same exercise and run it in this area of the fingerboard. But all of the fingering is going to change now because it's a different area of the fingerboard. But if you have memorized the 3 fingerings, first finger position, second finger position, and third finger position, and fourth finger position, you're golden, right? Check it out. Here I am. Imagine I'm just in these frets here, for the 5 to 9, okay? Let's run this exercise. Starts with C. I'll play it fast, and then I'm going to slow it down. C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, E, A, D, G, C. Okay, so that was, and again, you can see I've got all of the information right underneath my fingers. None of this, you know, it's all wherever I am. Wherever I am on the fretboard, I've got the information under my fingers, and so have you. You might not know it yet, but you will once you've learned these approaches, right? So now we've done that exercise. Let me break it down just so you can see what fingerings I'm using, okay? So starting on the C, and then going C, F, B flat, E flat, etc., okay? Here we go. Fourth finger position, fourth finger position, second finger position, second finger position, second finger position, fourth finger position, fourth finger position, second finger position, second finger position. Where was that? Second finger position, first finger position, first finger position, and then back to fourth finger position. Now we run the same exercise, frets 8 to 12, starting on the C, okay? So I'm going to play it fast, and then I'm going to slow it down exactly the same. So as you'll see, I'm going to play the same exercise. All of the notes are under my fingers because I know where to play the chords. A bass player that doesn't know how to outline the chords on the fretboard is like a guitar player or piano player who cannot play chords. Say that one more time. A bass player that cannot outline the chords on their instrument is the same as a guitar player or piano player who cannot play chords. Let's not go there. Okay. Okay, here we go. In the 8 to 12 area, okay? So we're going to go C, F. I'll play it fast and I'll slow it down, okay? So... Okay, so that was in that area of the fingerboard. Now let me slow it down so you can see which fingerings I'm using. Remember, there's only 3 fingerings for a major triad, okay? Here we go. First finger, second finger, third finger, first finger position, fourth finger position, fourth finger position, second finger position, second finger position, second finger position, fourth finger position, fourth finger position, second finger position, back to the C. Okay, so as you can see, it's right there. So remember, what you need to do is learn the 3 fingerings for a major triad. Side note, there are actually 3 more triad types, okay? Remember I mentioned my Fretboard course. It's open for enrollment right now. What I do in that Fretboard course, and again, it's 6 months long. It's a long one, okay? It's a long one, and it's long because there's different triads. Okay, there's the major triads, there's the minor triads, there's augmented triads and diminished triads, and everything that you ever play on the bass, anything, any line that you have ever played in the past or will ever play, can be derived back to one of those triads. Okay, everything that you will ever have played or will play in the future will come from either a major, minor, augmented, or diminished triad. Anything. Okay, meaning that if you use these systems and learn this system over the fingerboard, okay, using the 3 fingerings for each triad and then using the areas of the fingerboard, okay, if you do that, you're going to have, there's never any time you'll look at the fingerboard and be lost, whatever you're playing, because you'll always tie it back to one of these triads. Okay, it's huge. It's called the triadic harmony concept, I think. If you go to scottsfretboardcourse.com, I talk about it there. Okay, it's huge. Okay, so now we've got the 3 areas of the fretboard, and we've gone through all of the major triads in the 3 areas of the neck. Okay, so you got that down? Everybody give me a yes. I know I'm going fast down here, okay? Cassis is saying, I don't like chords, I prefer chinos. Okay, so moving on. How long we got, Alan? About 5 minutes. That's okay, I can do this. Okay, so up until now, what we've been doing is talking about triads, all right? And again, I've talked about the major, minor, augmented, and diminished triads. To go one step further, what you can do is then start using arpeggios, right? 7th arpeggios, actually. So a 7th arpeggio is just the full chord. So if you've learnt the triads, right, root 3 and 5, you add 1 note onto that, and you've got a full major 7 arpeggio. I'll do it here. Now, just side note, I used to go to a guitar teacher back in the day when I was 13 or 14 years old, and she was like, learn your arpeggios. Learn your arpeggios. I was Right, I was learning my arpeggios, and every single note I played of that arpeggio, I just thought, what the hell am I doing this for? Like, what's it for? Why? I'm not sure about you, but I always take serious issue with stuff that I don't know. If I don't know what it's for, like, my brain just goes into, I don't give a crap mode. I'm like, why should I even be bothered about this? How is it going to impact my bass playing is it going to make it any better? Okay, so let me just get you right to the end point, right? Arpeggios are chords as well. That's all they are. I remember what I said. A bass player who can't outline the chords on their instrument is like a guitar player or piano player who cannot play chords, aka freaking useless. Okay, not good. Okay. So we need to be able to outline all of the chords. So what do we need to do as bass players? We need to know how to use our triads, and then one step further than that is arpeggios as well. Okay, now the arpeggios, without going down this, the triads and the arpeggios are kind of mixed together in different ways, but just a headline statement, you need to know your arpeggios, okay, because that is how we outline the chords as well. Okay, now what I wanted to give you today is just a really sort of like a clear way of thinking about this. Okay, that when it comes to arpeggios, there are kind of like 4 different arpeggios that you need to know. 4 different triads, 4 different arpeggios. Simple, right? Okay, the first one is a major 7 arpeggio. Okay, I'm just going to play the chord so you can hear it. We've all heard that chord before, right? Ah, beautiful, right? Well, that's the arpeggio. It's just a major 7 arpeggio. We need to know the major 7 arpeggio. The next arpeggio is a dominant 7 arpeggio. Now, there's only 1 note difference between a major 7 arpeggio and a dominant 7 arpeggio. So if I play the major 7 arpeggio here, all I need to do is get that note and move it down 1 fret. Now I've got, and that is the dominant 7 arpeggio. So again, we've got the major 7 arpeggio. We've got the dominant 7 arpeggio. 1 note difference. Now the minor 7 arpeggio. Everybody know what that has heard that sound before? Of course you have, right? Now, again, so there's 1 note difference between the minor 7 and the dominant 7. Okay, so the dominant 7 is, the minor 7 is. Okay, so the dominant 7 was root, 3, 5, flat 7, and then root. Minor 7 is exactly the same but with a flat 3. Root, flat 3, 5, flat 7, and root. And then finally, spicy. Okay? We've got minor 7, flat 5. And there's again 1 note difference. You know I was going to say that, right? 1 note difference between a minor 7 and a minor 7, flat 5. So you've got the 4 major chords, right? We've got major 7, we've got dominant 7, we've got minor 7, we've got minor 7, flat 5. And we only need to change 1 note between each of them to get the next one. So it goes like this. Major 7, dominant 7, minor 7, and then minor 7, flat 5. One more time. Major 7, dominant 7, minor 7, and then minor 7, flat 5. Now remember, if you want to rewind this, you can, once we stop streaming it live, you can go back, you can rewind it. You can also use the slow down feature on YouTube as well to play it slower. And if you want to, if you're watching this and you're like, this is my jam, this is what I want to do, I want to learn about the fretboard in a much deeper and meaningful way that will ultimately change who you are as a musician, because you won't be one of those bass players who kind of just paints by numbers, right? Just doesn't really understand what's going on within the chords. You'll be a bass player who actually understands the chords, right? A real musician. If you want to level up there, just go to scottsfretboardcourse.com and you'll find my program there that's open for enrollment right now. And if you enroll today, you're going to get over $300 worth of bonuses thrown in for free, and it's over 7 hours of content. That's just bonus content. There's 20 hours of content for the entire program because it's a 6-month program that you do get lifetime access to. But it's a 6-month program, but you can also get access to the 7 hours of additional content as well. Now, so here's the key thing, okay? Just like we did with the major triads, you remember we learned them in 3 different positions. We had first finger position, second finger position, 4th finger position. We need to do that with the arpeggios as well. You need to know the first finger. So this is major 7 arpeggio, right? Major 7 arpeggio in the first finger position. In the second finger position. In the 4th finger position. Do the same with the dominant. First finger position. Second finger position. 4th finger position, minor 7, minor 7 flat 5. And I think that was all of them, right? And now by doing that, you might be thinking, well, why do I need to learn them in those positions? Let's just wrap it up by there, okay? Actually, I've got one more thing. I've got one more thing, and then I'll let you go, okay? How long have we been streaming for, Alan? 35 minutes. Oh, I nearly got it in 30 minutes. There we go. Right, here's the thing. Here's why you need to do it. Let's say we've got a major 7 chord, and we want to outline the harmony over that, right? Well, we can use second finger position or first finger position or fourth finger position or second finger or first or fourth or second or first. And then we run out of room. Do you see my point? That when you see someone like me playing, when you see me playing across the fretboard, I'm not memorizing all of these notes. I'm using the patterns, the visualizations. I'm thinking C and plug it in the pattern. C, plug in the pattern. C, plug in the pattern. Plug in the pattern. Plug in the pattern. I'm not thinking notes while I'm playing this. I'm not thinking C, E, G, B. Oh. You know, some people could do that. I can't do that. I'm not a superhuman. Okay? Which is why I really advocate for really leaning into visualization on the fretboard, because then you can learn one thing and replicate it across the entire fingerboard. Okay. Now, last thing before I leave you, scales. You should be doing the same thing with scales. 3 fingerings, and you can start really simple with just the C major scale. So you can have the C major scale. That's the first finger position for the major scale. Second finger. Fourth finger. So just by doing that, again, you know, you say play a C major to somebody. If you've learnt the 3 fingerings, then you can go second finger position, first finger position, fourth finger position, second finger position, fourth finger position, second finger position. Where are we? First finger position, fourth finger position, second finger position, first finger position. Okay, and that is how, like, you can really get command of your fingerboard. And be under no illusion, this is one of the main roadblocks of 99% of bass players on the planet. Okay, they haven't learned the fretboard. They haven't learned the fretboard well enough. They've not spent the time that you really need to, you know, and it's, well, if you go to scottsfretboardcourse.com, you will see on there that you don't need to be putting in 8 hours a day. In fact, the recommended practice time for that course, the Fretboard Accelerator, is only 20 minutes a day. Okay. And I know that because this is how I did it. I actually create all of these exercises are not exercises that are sort of like conjured up or pulled out my backside. They're exercises that I came up with to learn the fingerboard, and then I got all of those exercises and then squished them into a massive program, which is the Fretboard Accelerator. So if you do want to check out the Fretboard Accelerator, again, go to scottsfretboardcourse.com. And if you sign up today, you're going to get over $300 worth of bonuses, which is 7 additional hours of content. The program itself is something like 20 hours of content anyway, and it's organized into modules. Major triads, minor triads, major triads, minor triads, augmented triads, and diminished triads. And what you're supposed to do is really focus on each module at its own, you know, work through it at your own pace. And for most people, it takes around 6 months. But we have had people that have gone over that or under it. You know, it depends on how much you're doing. We recommend around 20 minutes a day, around 4 to 5 days a week. And it's going to completely revolutionize the way that you think about the fingerboard, because it's going to give you a really solid underlying system, which is the triadic harmony system, that pulls it all together. Triadic harmony system has been around for hundreds of years. All I did is come up with a system that really teaches you how to get the triadic harmony system and learn it on the fingerboard. Okay, that thing's been around for hundreds of years. All I did is come up with a system that teaches you how to get it on the fingerboard, which exercises to run specifically at which points, which to focus on, how long to focus on them, and all of that good stuff. Okay, and again, if you sign up today, you're going to get over $300 worth of bonuses thrown in for free as well. And is that it, Alan? Is that how long did I do it in? I failed, didn't I? 40 minutes. Nearly 30 minutes. Never mind. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out today. It's been an absolute blast. One of my favourite things to think about is the fingerboard. Talk about, should I say, is the fingerboard. When I was really going hardcore at learning the bass, I'm still pretty hardcore, but you know, when I didn't know anything, if you don't know, I started playing bass when I was around 80. I would play guitar a little bit beforehand, but I really started playing bass when I was around 18. And one of the first things that really threw me, you know, what was the terminology? Threw me or something? I don't know what it is. Anyway, really confused the heck out of me was the fingerboard. I really, really had a hard time getting it down. So, you know, I'm kind of analytical in the way that I learn anything. So I started creating these systems, and that's really what gave me the ability to be able to play over the entire instrument like you should be able to do. Imagine a piano player if they could just play down here. You know, but there are bass players that literally only play in one area of the neck. Imagine a piano player. They go out of that area. They have to come back down here. Anyway, not to labour the point. Thanks so much for hanging out today. As I said, you can check out that accelerator, the Fretboard Accelerator, over at scottsfretboardcourse.com. I would love to see you inside. It's the most extensive course I've ever created in my entire life. I don't think I'm ever going to create another one ever again that long. And I should say as well, this is the last time we're running it at this price as well. Next year, when we open it again for enrollment, will be like this time next year, but the price is going to be going up as well. So it is the last time we'll be running it at this price. So if it does sound like it's for you, go check it out at scottsfretboardcourse.com, and you can get a 30-day free trial anyway, so you can go through the entire program. If it doesn't rock your world in every single way, you can ask for your money back, and no harm, no foul. Anyway, dudes, take it easy, and I will see you in the shed.